read it because a lot of things are said about a little part in our body which can do a lot and lot of damage, not to our own selves, but in relationships, in what do you call it, in work areas, in schools, if we don't rightly use this little small 6-inch long thing called TOUNG, tongue. But on the other hand, it can be used as a blessing as well. Know what I mean? Tongue can, when used rightly, it can be used as a blessing. And here, James, you all know, is the half-brother of our Lord Jesus. And you would have seen him, James would have seen Jesus, grow up with Jesus. He would have seen, he would have seen, played around with Jesus, worked in the carpentry shop with Jesus. So you would have seen his half-brother, Jesus, how he grew up. At the age of 12, God had already given him wisdom to have discourse with the teachers in the temple and all that. So here James, it's a very short, it's James' book, it's a lot of practice. James gives us a lot of practical things in our life to lead a life which is pleasing to the Lord. A life of practical life. And these 5 chapters, and right in the middle, chapter 3, James puts about this little 6-inch thing which is called tongue. And somebody once said, a tongue 6 inch long can kill a man 6 feet tall.
6 feet tall.
So we have to be very, very. So when I share this, I am so speaking to myself. And I used to be when I remember I grew up with my grandfather, when we said anything wrong, you know what they put on our tongue? Chili, the chili padi, chili padi. So that so if we are not very careful with our tongue, we can do a lot of damage to ourselves, our circle of friends, our family, our home. Husband and wife, you quarrel, when we quarrel, the most painful thing is a silent treatment, right? Have you all been through a silent treatment? When nobody want to talk to each other? That is also, if you don't talk also, can be so we have to be very, very careful. As I said, when I chose this topic, I better be very careful. And James here really, really beautiful. In the first 2 verses, he gives us an introduction on what the tongue is all about. He just gives us a very general introduction. And he wants us, people who are teachers, you be careful. If you're not careful, you be judged more than the others. Imagine if a policeman does wrong, most probably he will be punished more than an innocent person who doesn't do. So once we know and we do wrong, we stand in greater condemnation. And here that's why in the 2 introduction verses, James warns us who are teachers. So I stand here, when I say this, I stand here very, very careful of what I have to say. Because what James is trying to say, you say and you don't do it. You stand at the pulpit, you preach, and you don't. What is it? Is it a wayang kulit or what? Is it a show? Is it? Or are you going up there to preach because you're getting paid or what? So we have to be very, very, very careful. So James, and then I will just give you a summary of the whole thing. Not summary, I'll give you. And then from verse 3 to 4, it talks of the power to control. The power to control. and then we will go through it. And then second point is the power to destroy. Verses 5 to 8 talks about the power to tongue has a power to destroy. And I think the last part, 9 to 12, talks about the power to bless. You know? So tongue has a power to control, the power to destroy, and the power to bless. So when we use wisely, you know, when we sing songs, when we sing worship songs, without the tongue, it will be just what you call it, you know, like God, you know what I mean? So the voice itself is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing that God has given us. You hear a very beautiful choir sing a cappella, you feel you are in heaven, man. So this is, so we will just read 3 passages, and maybe I'll highlight some of these things, and then we will, and please, at any time, don't have to wait till the end of the thing. At any time God gives you something, a thought or something, please be prepared to share. Just so I will appreciate that. I hope you don't mind, Casey.
Yes, feel free.
Okay, let's. I can read now because I brought this thing, so the letters are very big. Okay, 1 to 2. It says, "My friends, not many of you should become teachers." Oh, James is very, he says, "Not many of you should become teachers. As you know, we teachers," well, he also includes himself as a teacher, He says, "We teachers will be judged with greater strictness than others. All of us often make mistakes, but if a person never makes mistakes with what he says, he is perfect and is also able to control his whole being." This is the introduction. He says, who are teachers? Teachers are who are the first teachers that we ever come across? Our parents, right? We learn a lot from them. So as parents, we cannot do one thing and do another. There was this small, illustration. So the phone rang, and then the mother told the daughter, "Darling, go and pick up the phone." And then the daughter said, "Who is that?" "Oh, this person." "Tell her I am not here." "Tell her I am not here." What is a child learning? What is a child learning? I think I already shared the other classic example about the father trying to teach the boy to drive. Have I shared that one? I think Naman, this. So father takes the son to school every day, and he said, see what you wanted to teach him about traffic. A small boy, maybe for your son. What does red light mean? Stop. Wow, good son. What does green light mean? Go. Very good. What does orange mean? Go faster. Where does the son learn this from? Our actions, you try to teach, so our actions, however big or however small, must really be in line with our with what we say, what we believe, and you know what I mean. That will please. Honesty is one thing that really, really pleases the Lord. Doesn't matter whatever wrong you have done. When we come to God, when we confess, "Lord, I have done it." That is why I always like David. Why God call him, one of the things why he call him a man after his own, because every time he was pointed out of his mistakes. He never gave any excuses and said, "Lord, I did this, because I was weak. I did this because lad." Never tai chi one. Directly come and say, "Lord, I am sorry." So here, first teachers are what? In home. Second teachers where? When we go to kindergarten, then we go to school, then we go to university. And finally, sometimes we ourselves might become a teacher. So as teachers, we have to be very, very careful what we say. And then the second one, it talks about, verse 3 to 4 talks about the power of the tongue to control. Our tongue has a power to control us. God teaches control of the tongue. So here God want to teach us how to control our tongue. No, God teaches how the tongue. He gives us here very beautiful examples. He says we put a bit into our jockey is not here, otherwise he will. And if we put a bit into the mouth of a horse to make it obey us, and we are able to make it go where we want. Just a small piece of iron, a bit. You want to go right, you pull the right side into the horse. You want to go left, look. You want to go straight, you pull both. You want to really stop. So, with a small little thing, we can control a horse. And then gives another example of things that can control or think of a ship. This is my favorite. This is I'm home, man. I'm home. Or think of a ship, big as it is driven by such strong winds. It can be steered by a very small rudder, and it goes wherever the pilot or whoever controls it to go. You know what the rudder is? You all have been in the tongkangs and all that, isn't it? At the back, you see how small the rudder is? And but on a big ship, this big 1,000, the rudder is only what? 1,000 of the size of the ship, small. And the captain or whoever controls the ship, go right, he just turn, go left. Go. So with a small little thing, you can control a big ship. So is it, and a very small rudder, and it goes wherever it has to go. And so James is saying, hey, these two, it's like these two things. So verse 5 says, so it is with the tongue. Small as it is, it can boast about great things. Just think how large a forest can be set on fire by a tiny flame. Again, he gives a third example of a small spark which can cause havoc. Those Australia, in California, where all you need is some careless guy smoke and on a dry day go and throw it into the bush. You get a bushfire. So same like that, James gives three very clear examples how a tongue can, used to control, used to destroy as well. Okay, then we go on to verses. The power to destroy. Verse 5 also power to destroy. 5 was power to destroy. The first two is power to control, and this one power to destroy. Verses 5 to 8. Let me see. I got any additional notes? And also Proverbs 15:14 also talks about the control. Who controls a tongue is a mature man. And sometimes in Matthew also it says, control of the tongue represents controlled life. Tongue is a manifestation of what is inside us. Matthew says, whatever is inside, whatever comes out is what is inside. I think I gave this example sorry, am I repeating myself now? One lecturer was teaching the student a lesson. So he says, what happens if I squeeze a lemon? What juice comes out? Lemon juice, right?
Lemon juice.
Can you get rambutan juice when you squeeze a lemon? Can you? So we are like that. When we are put in a tight spot, when we are squeezed, what comes out of us is what is already inside us. So when we are in a tight corner, people talk bad about us, people do all this. What should come out? Good things, right? Grace, mercy, forgiveness, love. How do we get all this? It is just by our close walk with God and intake of the Word of God, so that instead of all the other anger, rubbish inside us, these things will be filled. So when wife scolds you, say, thank you, dear. Thank you, dear, but don't tell her, scold me again. Thank you, dear. Just so it's very important, the tongue and what is inside us. Out of our belly flows what?
Living waters.
living waters, not what